So we just finished our first day in India, our first complete
Full
day.
day.
Right.
Focus of a Child, India 2019. Day one,
In the bag.
in the bag. All done.
So today was our our body clocks adjusted to get acclimated. And what do we do? Let's talk about what we did today.
Well, I just want to say first,
Okay.
like today was a really good day.
Yeah.
Really good. More than just what we did. I think, we all day long, we were comparing like this to last time we were there.
Yeah.
We were there 2 years ago in Kolkata. This was a totally different day
Yeah.
compared to that.
There was a point this morning where you and I were both, I think, a little disappointed of like, it's not miserable enough. It's not. it's like Amanda's going, oh, what are you guys talking about? You guys are babies.
Yeah, you're making things up. It's
You
not
must
like
have been
that.
making things up.
All right, so we just walked around just a little bit. Tell me what your first impressions, right off the top of your head, what you've seen.
Well, it's not what I expected, but it's really cool. One, the air is much clearer than I thought. The sky is almost blue. I haven't been hit by a car. They seem very, they're fine. And I might be getting stared at, but I don't notice it very much. It seems very calm and very normal in a way.
Yeah,
And it smells pretty good. I don't know what's happening. But
my impression compared to last time, this is totally different. Like, I don't know if it's just because we came in a different season, but like there's a different calmness here. It just seemed different to me.
And it's cool, but it's not cold.
No,
it's not hot.
The whole city's changed.
Yeah. The
Right.
demographic has shifted.
It has. So I asked George, why has it changed? He says it has to do with a big influx of
Of IT.
IT, right? Tech jobs.
Stuff.
Yeah. He says it really is employment driven. People have money. And that it's doing great things in the city. Like, there's restaurants like the Hard Rock Cafe, opening up in the city, which is just, it's weird to think, because when we were here 2 years ago, the thought of having a Hard Rock Cafe
Yeah.
or a brand new Starbucks.
Oh, when we heard there was a Hard Rock, we laughed.
We laughed.
We were like, oh yeah, this is
No.
going to be a joke.
That's impossible from what we saw 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, there was, like you said, the part of me that was like, oh man, I wanted to show Amanda what we went through, what we toughed out. But you know what? This was awesome. It was a great introduction day.
Oh,
What-
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was great. First off, the weather was great. It wasn't hot or anything, which was something that I don't.
We haven't told you the weather for next week.
Well,
I just
I'm not
looked it up.
even
It's,
living for today. No, but yeah, that's always a good start when you wake up and the sky is almost blue and.
That's something we never saw 2 years ago. We didn't see a blue sky.
Yeah, there was at one point today. That's Amanda's the one that went, look, the sky is blue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys said you never
Yeah.
saw the sun or blue sky.
Yeah.
But it did cloud up though. It
did.
got smogged up by the end of the day. So
Yeah. It's like a lot to process, but I don't feel overwhelmed necessarily. And I think that's because we went out for our walk earlier this morning and shops hadn't opened up yet. There weren't very many people in the street. There were people, but I kind of was able to see the streets and to see how people start up their days. And then we went out a couple more times throughout the day, and it changes, but you kind of just walk around and get used to it. And it's only day one, so.
Yeah, but walking is different than walking at home.
Oh, yeah.
You're dodging things, cars, dogs, people,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
and now you don't have rickshaws to
No.
worry about. The other thing that George was saying that has really changed is that over the last couple of years, he said women have really started to get more rights.
Mm-hmm.
They've demanded it, and they've gotten it to where now, first thing we had commented to George was, man, we sure see a lot of like Western dress.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know why? Because women can now. And he's like, it's much easier to put a pair of jeans on than it is to spend 25 minutes wrapping yourself in a sari.
What I'm surprised about when you talk about the Western dress, it's not just that, but everybody, both men and women, look better. And it's not because I'm saying Western dress is better than Indian dress. but everybody seems to be taken care of better, right? I mean, their countenance is better. They're walking up tall and just
Yeah.
they're very confident in a good way, and it's really, I think, exciting to see, because you're seeing, I think, Kolkata, a city that's on the verge of a real breakthrough.
Yeah. Even though as smoggy and as yucky as the air is here, it's better per se than what it was. You know, things like a lot of people call them tuk-tuks, but they're called an auto rickshaw, and they're everywhere here. And George said that, you know, that's one of the other things, they're starting to convert all those to electric. So getting those off the road, those were horrible polluters. The next thing they said the challenge they're going after is all these yellow cabs that are, you know, old, these really old diesel engines that just pump. So it's one of those things where, like, pollution is a slow process to fix, but this is one where I would have said 2 years ago, they're never going to conquer that, ever. They have a long ways to go, but it's good stuff.
It is. It's actually, I think, really exciting to see.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, truthfully, when we came saying, it's probably the last time we'll ever come to India. We've been here one day, and at dinner, that was our conversation was, I could see us coming back.
How could we, make this a real thing, for bringing other photographers,
Yeah.
or just, expanding Chopstick guys, or doing whatever, that we do. Just like, how can we?
Yeah. Give opportunities for others to come with us and experience what we're experiencing, and there's still so many photographic opportunities apart from just seeing, experiencing the culture.
But even with that, like, there's still, not talking about, coming back, but just saying, with all the positive, there's still great need here.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge need. There's a big disparity between the very wealthy and the very poor.
Yeah, there's no absence of poverty.
No.
It's everywhere you look, but suddenly there's like signs of hope, where 2 years ago we kind of walked away going, that's so big that it's hopeless. And now all of a sudden there's this influx of young people, and things are changing. Come on in. Get a knock on the door.
Oh, beautiful.
That's one packet. So maybe we could make some more tomorrow. You reckon you finish all that? Yeah, I think you can. I think you should finish that. So you make some more tomorrow. So you put that in the fridge now.
Thank you for today.
You got your telephones?
We did.
We did.
Yep.
Okay, good, great.
Yeah, that was
Thank you for
awesome.
today.
Thank you.
See you later.
Good night.
It's a good time. Look at that. George just brought us
George just
yogurt.
brought us some yogurt, homemade yogurt. George needs some.
We gave him our bag of milk from the doorstep this morning, and he took it home and said, I'll make yogurt for you.
Man. Speaking of George,
Yeah.
thank you, George, for the nice segue into the topic of George.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see him behind
You
Mark
couldn't.
there.
I don't
but
think you
I
could.
think you could.
It,
I couldn't see him. I see
so
his hand.
George's an amazing man.
Yeah.
Who is George?
We couldn't do this trip, I don't think, without his help.
George is the guy that can get anything done.
Yep.
George helps us get our money straightened out, helps figure out transportation.
Yeah.
George is a great tour guide. George is the most interesting man in the world, actually.
He is probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met.
And he knows a lot about a lot.
Man.
If it's science, he knows it. If it's
Yeah.
world,
Politics, if it's
culture.
whatever, yeah. And he knows the history of not only his country, his city. Like,
That used to be a natural pond that used to provide water. That's why they settled along here.
decided that was a good source.
Yeah, and then what they had to do was they had to shift because they required to build a fort in a less vulnerable position. So they shifted the fort down there on the river so they could see if anybody was coming, And so the whole colony moved. And this entire water body still used to supply water to Calcutta. But then gradually what happens is when you have such a large water body in the middle of such a very important commercial zone, they built that bloody thing, that huge building on the water body. So the water body is to stretch all the way down to that. That's the telephone office. What a horrible construction. Yeah, and they built that on the water body.
Just today, like how he was almost angry with like people that were like, why don't they care? This is important.
well, he was, George is a funny guy because he does a lot of humanitarian and city culture projects, right?
Yeah,
So you
all
know,
the heritage
he
stuff.
goes to some of these heritage churches back from when British rule was happening in Kolkata, and he's very involved in restoration processes of these buildings, and he cares deeply about the heritage, and it gets very frustrated when maybe some of the newer people don't care as much, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants to not just he's not into keeping everything old for old sake, but just making sure that
Yeah.
very
It can be used.
yeah.
He wants to have it continue, like not just shrivel.
You know, he took us to the clock tower at St. Andrew's Church today.
Which again, just so interesting. Like right down to Scottish. It was a Scottish church. You know, like Scotland. I thought England. He's like, this is like before when everybody kind of had their little groups, and they had a whole town of Scottish people.
So tell him about that the staircase that he took us up.
Well, the first staircase, just to get to the, I guess technically first level, is, you know, a wide spiral staircase. It's beautiful. And then you get into this larger room, and then you see in the corner there's a staircase that's probably about 2 feet wide, maybe
If that,
3
yeah.
feet wide.
But in
And
that
it's
room
so
was
tight.
the clock mechanism, like
Yeah, like the actual.
the actual like dials and.
Yeah. And then goes, okay, we're going up, and you have to climb this ladder to get to the first step of the actual stairs. And then you're winding, and you have to hold on to the center pole, just kind of shimmy up the very thin wooden stairs.
You
and,
had to turn your shoulder sideways
Yeah.
as you walk. That's how narrow it
yeah,
was.
and there's parts of it that are just like completely dark because the slats of everything just kind of hit all the shadows, and you're like, where's the next step?
And you pop out through a little
But we
hole.
went up probably what 4 stories that way,
Something like
up this
that.
little tiny, at least 4 stories up.
Yeah.
Popping out this little hole. That's a little hole.
Yeah. Hands are completely black.
Steve
Into-
went first and cleaned it for us.
Yeah.
I came
It's
in and
back.
polished it.
But you know, you come out into the actual clock tower.
Yeah, like the faces of the clock. Well, you don't see them, but the
backside.
backside of them, and you see all the dials that would turn the actual hands. But
So that was cool.
Yeah, and then there's all these huge timbers, and he said that they sent people over from Scotland or England that made it actually from like the factory, and this was in like the 1700s, 1800s.
Let me see, 17.
That one, St. Andrews, was like
1840. So.
something really, you know, early 1800s. But he said they spent 9 months like custom building
Yeah,
the
they did it
framework that
in
holds this
pieces.
clock.
hauled it up in pieces.
And that's why he's so passionate about it. He's like, this is art. This is like, you know, these little watches that are made into big scale, and why don't people care about it? And
So Amanda might get to play the pipe organ there.
yeah,
He
that
says,
would be
"Oh, I'll just find a key. We'll play that."
yeah.
Okay.
George knows a guy.
He knows a guy.
He'll get that organ turned on.
But what was really fun is actually right after we left there, we went to the guy that was up there working on this clock mechanism, these big dials that are attached to these rods, and they twist and turn.
They're taking every piece off individually, cleaning it because they're taking it right. It's beautiful brass, and then reassembling it off of pictures they take.
So the guy that was up there though
Yeah.
is a master watch
Repair.
repair mechanic, right? I mean, that's what they do. Is he works on high-end watches. So George says, "Hey, let's go down and let's go to this guy's shop, right?" And we actually got kind of a lesson in watchmaking, which
Yeah.
is really fun.
Yeah.
He was telling us about, you know, what the best watches are and how they work, and showing us all the winding mechanisms and stuff. That was pretty cool.
What did he say? He said the guys are constantly going over to Switzerland to learn, to take classes, and like these are the master mechanics
Yeah.
of watches.
So that was pretty cool.
So, and he knew a lot about them.
Again, stuff that people don't normally get to do.
Yeah.
Like seeing this stuff.
We got to start our day off with chai. Kind of start our day off. We had to wait for money.
Yeah, we had to, well, that's the other thing too. We had to wait to get money. So,
So we took our first walk because we were broke. And we got to see things. And then it was off to the phone store.
to start the process of getting these SIM cards.
Yes.
Which is for some reason a 10-hour process. I'm not quite sure why that takes 10 hours.
But much easier than last time, because last time it was a 2 or 3 day process.
So get this for everybody. in America.
Ooh.
We each got SIM cards for our individual cell phones that we brought over from America.
Yep.
For unlimited talk, 1.4 gigabytes of data per day
Yeah.
on each phone, and 100 in-country texts per day.
Yeah.
You know how much that was?
For 3 phones.
3 phones
For a month.
for a month. So that's like
With SIM cards.
60
We had to-
gigabytes of data each,
Yeah.
right? Cost $22 for all 3.
Yeah, that was our SIM cards and our plan.
So for the equivalence of, 180 gigabytes of data,
Yeah. Yeah.
$22.
Yeah, so for like $7.50 each.
You think we're getting ripped off
Yeah.
in America?
But they have plans over here that are 199 rupees,
Uh-huh.
which is, like $2.50 a month
Yeah.
for plans better than ours.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? When you order it, you get free Amazon Prime, free
Netflix.
Amazon, Netflix, Amazon Video,
There's
all
something else on
included.
TV,
I mean, it
right?
was crazy.
It was nuts.
Yeah, for $2.50 a month. Listen up, Sprint, Verizon, all you.
We had some good Chinese food today, too.
We did.
George said, want some Chinese food? And he's asking us if we want Chinese food. What do you think the answer to that is, right? So he took us upstairs to this place that he knows, the guy.
But it was like the back of some repair
Yeah,
place.
we were like, is it good? He goes, yeah, it's good. It's pretty good.
It's-
It's okay.
Maybe.
Oh, he goes, it depends on who's there. Oh.
And he goes, it's a bit of a walk, but everything in India is a
So
bit
we
of
go
a
up
walk.
this weird staircase.
Yeah.
Again, like looking like you're going to an auto repair job. And
But here's something we learned today, though. So all over India, we see these tiles with all these little religious symbols on them for Hindu religion stuff. And when we came down the thing, he was like, "Oh, I love these things." And he goes, "They do this so it discourages people from spitting on the walls." Really?
And it
He's
works.
like,
I mean, they were clean.
yeah, he said, "Yeah, that's exactly why they do it."
that's
So
strange.
because people like to spit.
So it must have been the good guy that was working at the Chinese food place, because George seemed to know him.
Yeah.
And he served us some good food. Keeping you up.
Sorry.
It's almost 10.
Almost 10 o'clock.
So
Good
we had a little
Chinese.
dinner, picked up our cell phones,
Yeah. And it didn't take long, and they work.
and they work.
So we all have internet now, or we all have
Data,
data.
so we can do some posting
Yes.
with the mosting. But yeah.
So all in all, it was a great day on top of it was a long day of travel,
It was.
but it was smooth.
Smooth.
I mean, everything. Immigration was easy. We got our bags.
It's kind of weird, because like we started off this conversation tonight saying that we were kind of disappointed that it wasn't as rough as it could have been. Everything has been ultra smooth.
Yeah.
But I think all of us feel really good about what we're going to do. Tomorrow we go to the school. We meet with the kids for the first time. So we have 15 students, and each one of them get one of these.
Yeah. Their own little
They're
Canon.
little Canon cameras. So same cameras same type of cameras that we used last time. These little Canon i6 cameras, which are great little cameras.
Yeah.
But
Which is amazing in India that they keep the same model of camera for so long. Like we constantly get new ones at home. They don't change as much.
so I cannot wait though
I know.
to put this in the hand of a kid. So tomorrow we're not putting them in the hand. That's Monday. But
Yeah.
tomorrow we're going there and we're going to meet the kids. We're talking with the teachers that we'll be doing some training with too, and it's going to be just a spectacular day. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you see those kids, and the look on their face, and just
Yeah, when we saw the kid at the bottom of the clock tower today, I was like, there's going to be hundreds of those
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Little
Oh.
faces.
this school has 450 students this term, but we'll be working with 15 of them. But we do get greeted by 450.
We do. With little hands outstretched to shake our hands saying, "Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am."
It's gonna be a great day.
Yeah.
Gotta brush up on our Hindi.
A little bit.
Namaskar.
Not my scar.
Yes, it is. Namaskar. Okay.
All right, I think it's time for bed.
It is. Let's get our yogurt. Let's put our yogurt to bed in the refrigerator, and everybody get some sleep.
George did say we have to eat that whole bowl.
I know, because he's gonna make twice as much
Yes.
tomorrow.
Do you think you will? You will. I need you to. Okay.
It's true though. I mean, this is one thing I know that we learned last time. And I'm not a big yogurt fan.
I'm not either.
Honestly, but this does wonders for
Yeah.
your stomach.
It does. We put the granola in it, and
It really does help.
put a little
Stomach.
miche de doi in it.
It's doy. Like, we're
Uh,
super careful about
Like
food.
it's a very sweet yogurt that we mix in there, and it's so good,
so,
so good. I can't wait for breakfast.
tomorrow we got eggs.
So we didn't eat any breakfast today.
We
Nothing.
didn't eat anything until 2.
Until 2 o'clock, and we survived. You know,
Yeah, but it was not fun.
No.
it wasn't. But you
we
know
like to
what?
eat.
The chopstick guys don't need as much food as they think they do. That's what we learned today. We're going to be doing some real soul searching on this trip.
I had trouble fitting through that little hole in the clock tower.
Yeah, it was kind of
Maybe that's
embarrassing.
why George. was
Oh
like-
yeah. So tell him what George said. The very first thing he
The
said.
first thing
very
when we
first-
get out of the car. Oh, you look a little bigger than the last time you were here.
Heavy was the word.
Heavier.
Actually,
He said,
used.
yeah. Oh, you look a little
Yeah.
heavier than before.
Maybe that's why he had us wait so long. Made us walk for 3 miles, 4 miles before.
So we are on the Kolkata weight loss program.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes, I need to avoid light in order to shift time.
Don't think that'll be a problem, do you?
No. So,
All right.
can't wait for tomorrow.
Until next time.
Don't forget.
Adios.
Good night.